So tired and so sore. But the sun has come up, and so I must get up as well. Oh, okay.
You know what? I was really groggy and tired when I first woke up. Oh yeah, a little bit. Some sore muscles. But now that I'm sitting upright, the sun is actually, the way it's risen, it's shining on the gravel bar now, which is nice because I slept in until it actually rose over the trees. I've got some insulated pants. I'm wearing double layered socks. And yeah, it's cold, but not as cold as last night. And I'm just excited to be here right now. Like, you know, life has its complications out here. It's a little bit chilly, and that nighttime run wasn't really as pleasant as I thought it would be. So I'm gonna get all my running done today during the daylight. But now I'm all tucked up and cozy and warm. It is so beautiful out there. There's frost on all the grass. Oh, I can't wait to show you guys this. It's very, very pretty outside. Oh, still cold, but the sun takes the edge off. Look at this solid chunk of ice right here. Those are my concentrates from the main box. Yeah, people say there's a lot of concentrates from Miner's Mass. I got a lot. Luckily, I have a 5-gallon bucket. I can just throw them all in and deal with it when I get home. But we'll see how today's run does. Let me just show you the hole here before I start up a fire. And I think I'm going to get some breakfast in me because I didn't have a proper dinner last night. I had, like, you know, nuts and cheese and snack stuff. So I had the highbanker set up. I'm going to get behind the camera just so I can see what's going on. And I'll do a little zoom out view here. There we go. So there's sort of a line along these rocks here. It's harder to dig up top here. And gold's only up in the surface. And then you come down here, and here the sand is really thick. So you can see right up by the highbanker, it's like a full shovel thick. Probably like 10 inches down until you get to these rocks. And that whole layer seems to have gold in it. Maybe about, like in what I would do as a typical test pan, only about 70 colors. But one shovel is like 3 of those test pans. Like, it's this massive chunk of sand for the box to deal with. I had the highbanker set up right here. Here's my tailings pile, which I keep sort of spreading out. There's 3 cubic yards of tailings here, and normally there would be more to deal with. So a huge amount is just the sand running out the other end. But I had a little berm here so that no water would fill in this area. So if I do want to do some test pans in here, like see what's deeper, I can sort of do that without it being solid ice. And a little bit of water drips off this end of the highbanker, so I kind of just like put it out in that direction. Then last night, in the dark, in the cold with my bare hands, I set this thing up. These are all clean and dried, but they're still, it's like iced, but water should just flow through it, and it should still capture gold. So I should be able to fire this right up without waiting for it to thaw. And I've got it set up in a little hole right here so that anything that tumbles out the front will tumble out into this area. Initially, when I start digging, I'm just going to cut this out just a little bit more to make some space for tailings. And then I'm going to skip over and just start digging up in this area, working that way. I have the option to dig up here as well. There's some gold here. And at this point, I'm not sure exactly how good the gold is there, and there, and also how deep it goes. So here, the pay seems to go fairly deep. There, not so much, but I'm gonna have to do some test pans before I get started. This saw viver, I actually found this in the snow down around Cranbrook probably 15 years ago. We got some stag chili steakhouse. Why am I not cooking over the fire? It blackens the bottom of your pans, and then you got to store your pan in something to keep it from getting all over all your gear. So it's just simpler to have a little butane stove like this. President's Choice apple cider. No better excuse to have a nice sugary beverage first thing in the morning than you're outside working hard. I actually left this in my cooler last night. Forgot to put ice in the cooler before I left. Well, no big deal. It's actually kept it from freezing. Yeah. Yep. A hot meal. Oh. Life is good. I just absolutely inhaled this. 2 Smokies and a tin can of chili. I've got this little Crazy Creek chair, and it feels so good just to lean into it a little bit. That lower back took the brunt of the work yesterday. So here I am, just like enjoying life, soaking in the sun. All the frost is melting into dew around me. Fire crackling off to my side. I can just feel a little bit of heat coming off of it from here. And it is so quiet out here. Like, you can't hear the water because it's just this slow flowing, almost like a lake in front of me. Absolutely beautiful. But I'm here for gold mining, so time to fire up the old noisemaker and start running some ground here pretty quick. I'm just gonna take 5 minutes and take this all in. This is running roughly 40 gallons per minute at the sluice, which is 20 gallons per minute per level. So 12 inches of sluice gets 20 GPM, 1.5 inch slope per foot. The only thing I'm missing to make this exactly like the Poppin' Sun is, well, an additional 8 foot of sluice and the 3/4 inch raised expanded metal in there, which I don't have. It does seem to be doing a pretty decent job capturing though, so I'm pretty happy with it. Not a ton of water moving through there, but what's kind of cool is to get a sluice that's moving like following the bubbles down. You know, it's not going crazy, but there's 2 levels, so you're able to get a fairly relaxed sluice with an absolutely like just hammering amount of water up here. So that's where, if you had a 24-inch wide beach box, it might actually be advantageous to narrow your hopper, get a little bit more cleaning action. So if I was dealing with actual clay, you gotta tumble it, you need a trommel. But for breaking apart this tough to break apart stuff with all the organics, I know I've seen people literally every shovel, they gotta reach in there with a glove on and sort of break it all apart by hand.
And this is basically allowing me to throw one in if it's really clumped together with roots. Just stab at it with the shovel a few times and the water does the rest. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. Time to keep on digging. I've got a lot of gravel bar left, way more than I have time to do. So I'm trying to high grade it and just get the best stuff that I can out of it.
So this miner's moss running at 1.5 inch slope per foot and 40 gallons per minute, so 20 gallons per minute per 12 inches of sluice. Seems to be doing a pretty good job of capturing everything.
As far as the durability goes of this grizzly, first of all, it doesn't need to be quite as long as it is, so I might change that up, but it seems to be holding out pretty good. Let's have a little look here. One of the things I did was I made so that it hits on this edge down here. So if you press on it, they'll land on that. So that means, you know, it holds some weight, but they're not sitting on that, so that they can all be free and kind of just tumble everything off. I did let one rock kind of a little bigger than it should have. It kind of rolled down onto it, and you can see it sort of bent them a little out of shape. Moving this spray bar up a little bit is really important, because so long as your shovels go above the spray bar, they land up there where it's durable, and then they just slide down here where it's a little more delicate. So far so good. Not as durable as the screen, because I was just throwing rocks straight onto that screen. It would just destroy this grizzly, but seems to be working pretty good. Shutting down for a quick break. Just testing what's coming out the tailings there. Let her cool for a couple seconds before you just shut her right off. Okay, so yesterday I did 800 shovels, and so far today I'm at 500. My shoveling technique is starting to change, so when I go in to shovel, I was kind of, you know, pulling up at the bicep a little bit, like tugging on the shovel, and I'm starting to feel it in the inside of my elbow. So I've sort of gone to a straight arm thing, stretching a little bit. Body's definitely feeling it, but that puts me at a total of 1,300 shovels so far. It's not bad. If I can do, I mean, the sun, I'm not gonna run right as late as I did, because that cleanup was just ridiculous. But if I can do another 700 shovels today, that'll put me at, well, 2,000. Recovery seems pretty good. The miner's moss and everything seems to be working. I would say, like, durability of this, you know, if you don't want like perfect classification, you know, they're moving around a little bit. You can see here, I'll give you a little close-up of what I'm talking about. But, you know, like this one's a little low, but overall, what's rolling down on top of this, like this is what it looks like. It's not like full of rocks scouring everything out. The La Trappe seems to capture a little bit more rock in the sluice. I'm not seeing a ton of gold in here. Every time I do a clean out of the La Trappe, I do find some gold, so there's definitely a reason to have it here. But this tub has been running. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, there's, you know, there's definitely material in there. So I'm gonna pan that out and sort of see what happens letting it run for 5 minutes. Obviously that tub's not gonna catch everything. It's gonna, you know, roll out, but should be a good indication if I'm losing a ton or not. This is really impressive. So everything I found in my little catch tub there, I let the machine run for about 5 minutes after putting in the last shovel. And this is just a rough pan down, but you can definitely see some fine gold. I don't know, with the shadow of the phone in there, it's gonna pick it up. Anyways, from what you can see there, that's about half of what, well, half the number of colors at least. They're finer colors on average. So less than half the gold of what one shovel goes in came out the bottom after running for 5 minutes. And that is where the big difference is. When I was using the Dream Mats, if I had a ton of gold in the sluice, I'd see like 3,000 plus colors. Getting to be that time of day again. I was just carrying a bucket of water up to the sluice because, you know, I was gonna clean out the La Trappe and just slipped. I saw the spot ahead of me. I was like, that looks really slippery. Kind of braced for it, slipped anyways, landed on my hand. All good, but definitely felt it. Kind of a reminder, you can mess yourself up pretty good out here if you're not careful. I've been delaying it for way too long just for financial reasons, but I got to get one of those satellite messengers. I don't know if Spot or InReach, or I'll have to do some research. If anyone uses one of those or has any experience recommending one or another, let me know in the comments. Because yeah, usually I'm in cell phone reception range and that's what I use, but then you get out of cell range and should probably have something just in case. Oh, I'm gonna keep the fire going. I did a little pause. I basically cut a bunch of firewood with the little saw viver, so I'm ready to go for the evening. And I don't know. Part of me says I should just, like I said at the beginning of this video when I was motivated, put everything I can into it and just go until 10 p.m. again with everything frozen and just deal with it. I might cut it a little bit short of that, but oh, body's definitely feeling it. The motivation levels are dropping a little bit. I feel like I put in a good day anyways. So it's still bright out. It seems to take a good 2 hours to shovel 1 yard, or 270 shovels. A little bit less than that, but on average about 2 hours. That's 2 hours of pump on time. But then in between that, I'm, you know, making firewood, eating food, you know, filling up the pump with gas, doing a bunch of other stuff. And it eats away at a day. I mean, it's not like I've got 12 hours of daylight anyways, so it's not like I wasted half the day, but I've done 3 yards today and probably spent only 6 hours of pump on time, maybe a little closer to 7. But yeah, you can't accomplish as much as you might think you would. I ended up doing an extra 200 shovels. I don't know if it's as cold tonight as it was last night, so that would be really nice if this went a little smoother, but I'm just completely wrecked. So I'm gonna do this clean out and get everything
basically back in the highbanker once it's dried out so that I'm ready to go for tomorrow. A total of 1,800 shovels between yesterday and today. And I think I might do the unheard of. I might set an alarm, because I cannot be running up this river when it's dark or even at dusk, because it's really low and there's some, I don't know, rocky sections that are a little bit sketchy. So in the hopes of avoiding that, I'm going to hang out by the fire for a little bit, basically just to stretch out my lower back, and then set an alarm. And I don't know how many shovels I can realistically get tomorrow, but I'm going to set a hard, like, I'm leaving packed, ready to go at 2 p.m. A little bit cloudy tonight, which is keeping some heat in, but I just know bending over cleaning out mats is really hard in my lower back, and my lower back is done, so wish me luck. So I'm doing the clean out here, and all I did is I took the top corner of this right at the very top and I dipped it into this pan. I've then panned it down, and would you look at that? So that's just one level, and just like the top corner of it. It's a promising amount of gold in there. My finger in there for scale. Obviously it's, you know, it's not going to add up to much right here, but like, it's just a tiny little bit of what was in there. So pretty happy about that. As far as the YouTube part of this, I don't know if this is all going to be one big part. It would probably be a big video. So if this happens to be a good opportunity to cut the film and say, hey, come on back next week, same time. Should be Thursdays at noon that I'm putting these things out. So a week after you see this, we'll see tomorrow waking up, doing the final run, heading home, and we'll do the clean out, show you the split, what was caught in the hopper, what's in the main sluice, what's in the trap. And I'll get the final count of how many shovels I put through this thing and tell you what it weighs. So that'll be kind of interesting. I'm hoping still for at least a 1/4 ounce. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of work. Not sure why I would put that much work into, you know, 8 grams of gold, but I wouldn't feel right if I left the season off without giving it up my all here. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see, just as excited as you guys to see what the clean out has to hold. So no better dinner after all that hard work. Oh man, I am very excited to eat this. Shut her down a little earlier tonight. It's only about 9 o'clock right now, so gonna have a nice bite to eat, sit by the fire, enjoy the peaceful quiet of the river valley. Probably do some stretches for my back before going to bed, and then, yeah, it's been a good day. Happy to be alive right now. To everyone watching, thank you for watching. And next week will be the final part of this video. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow to an alarm, do a final dig, jet boat home, and we'll get the cleanup done. Cheers.